Thank you so much. I'm Danforth Prince. I'm president of Blood Moon Productions. I operate from a house here on Staten Island on the North Shore. I frequently attend Episcopal Mass at a local Episcopal church here on the North Shore of Staten Island, Christ Episcopal Church. And it is because of my association with that church that I'm telling this to all of you today. We are very interested in the zeitgeist here at Blood Moon. We publish biographies, salvaging the oral histories of Hollywood. So to that effect, whenever I see another organization deeply involved in some aspect of preserving the archival history of this great nation, I rush and snap to attention. And the play had its premiere at my church this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And the play is called A Year of Lamentations, which is the officially sanctioned statement by the Episcopal Diocese of New York City for the participation of the Episcopal Church in the institution of slavery in the United States. To that effect, they had 15 actors and 7 or so musicians performing a voice recitation of characters as written by the reverend at a church in Hyde Park, New York. His name is Kramer, and more on that later. I really liked something that a friend of mine called Spider, who was one of the, I think, wardens or deacons of that church, rose to her feet to compliment Molly, one of the characters, played by a wonderful actress who played the character of Molly, who described with great poignancy her experience of having been sold up the river by a prominent deacon and I think a signature to the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution. And Molly described the pain of her life separated from parents and children, blah, blah, blah. And Spider, my friend Spider, stood up, a member of Christ Church, stood up and she asked with a sense of, it wasn't outrage, but it was indignation, certainly indignation. Why hadn't the actress who played Molly have put in an innuendo about the sexual demands that had been made on her in her capacity as the physical property of a white male owner with a sense of God's God-given right to fuck her whenever he wanted. Okay. And this is what happened. They brought on the author, Mr. Kramer, to describe why he had not included a sexual molestation accusation in with the other horrors recited by the character of Molly. And he said, whereas the written sources from that era indeed documented the sale and the purchase of humans as slaves, he could not find any document that attested to the sexual molestation of such slaves, and therefore he didn't put it into the line spoken by the character Molly. I think that's important. It shows that he's not trying to tarty up a historically appropriate script. By what I mean is a script based entirely on scholastically acceptable written sources. And as president of Blood Moon Productions, by the way, we are committed to resurrecting and preserving and archiving the oral histories, which we can still do at Blood Moon because what we're writing about, there are still some living witnesses who knew living witnesses. But when you go back to Sally Hawkins or something in the 18th century, there are no living witnesses. The bigger point I'm making, sorry to be so roundabout, is that the author of this could have tartied up that character of Molly, and as a scholar, he opted not to. I thought that was important. Thank you. The point I want to make is, scholastically, the Episcopal Church is a divine format for this premise. And as such, I think that the Episcopalians should grab this as a branding image, as a branding icon, forever associated with the Episcopal Church. And I also think that Christ Episcopal Church here on the North Shore of Staten Island, as headed by Trevor Babb, the Reverend Trevor Babb, a smart Bajan man of color, attending to the flock of a church which originated with the white ruling classes associated with the Vanderbilts. It's a very interesting historical moment at Christ Episcopal Church that it was this church that was selected as the spot for the world premiere of this very exciting play from the Reparations Committee of the Episcopal Diocese of New York City, who have defined 2018 as a year of lamentations for the process of reconciliation, which is the hope indeed that this will spark.